All right, guys, I just told Summer I'm a diva. She's like, get over yourself. All right, so this is Siberian Husky training tips, and I'm seeing this more and more with this breed. They can't take a correction, nor do you want to correct them. And you know, if you want a dog to vocalize when you jerk it with a pinch collar, my advice is go out and get you one of these, because you can have that real quick. But there is, you know, this dog would fight a leash like there was no tomorrow, and you really can't have that any more than you can have a horse that does that. And there is such a thing as a horse that can't be tied up, because my friend Brenda had one. We need to find her on Facebook, because she's my dear friend. But you know, the horse couldn't be tied up. There's no value. A horse that can't be tied up is almost valueless. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I had one of those flip a trailer one time.
Yeah. But what the deal is with these dogs is, Nala, they're not going to want to have anything to do with you if you have anything to do with corrections. So you better be very delicate with the leash, which is what I am with this dog. But part of that is you're going to have to be able to get the collar on and off. And I'm going to do that as subtly as possible. I could probably fool little kids. I could, oh, you didn't even see me take it off. You know, Summer's like, no, little kids aren't going to see you. Like, get over yourself, lady. You're no Michael Carbonaro. But what you don't want, and this dog will gesture towards your hand. She'll do a lot more than gesture towards your hand. If I wanted her to bite me, all I'd have to do is probably twist the collar up in my hand and start trying to lift her up to free my hand. So I want you to understand, they are not conscious of Nala. Yay! She is not conscious right now of that collar isn't on there. I do keep with this dog this little blue collar on her, because I want to be able to, and she resents that right there, but she's going to let me do it. See how she hooked my hand? Yay! And what her expectation is, only because I've done that and given her food, which is that's an old school technique. But again, I want to be able to, she knows I've got my finger in her collar right there. I need to be able to lightly restrain any dog without any, and what I did was the opposite of the wrong thing to do right there would have been pull my hand away and start petting the dog. You know what I mean? Do you see that, Summer? Mm-hmm. Where the dog would have gone, meh. But what I did was specifically put my hand on my heart. And there is such a thing. That dog, Layla, remember Summer will probably never forget that German Shepherd. Remember, you used to have to go outside the door, and I'd go, crack the door. You know, crack the door enough that the dog thought it was getting out, so that it was distracted enough that I could get the collar on it without getting... Remember that?
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, I was the one on the other side of the door trying to keep it from getting out. As I was screaming, as you were screaming, don't let it get out. And you were like, get over yourself, lady. And like, Nala!
That dog tried to eat me.
This dog has no expectation of correction. So this is how I get the collar on. I've got my hand hooked on the little blue collar. And it's just as you know, any more than I want a horse that can't be saddled. You know, can I have a dog that can't get the collar on? And she's slightly gesturing, but I better make sure I don't do anything crude. And just for the sake of this, I'm going to take the leash off. And that's how aware she is. You know, and that was part of the problem, Carlos, because this is what I told Carlos when she dropped off, you know, after he was telling me all her problems and everything that they've had her since a puppy. I'm like, well, I've done a forensic analysis of your information, and the person to blame is you! I like that one. We need to write that one down, too. Oh, we need to have free evaluation. We'll have them fill out this form and send it in, and, like, instantly, like, have the whole thing full of loaded questions. How many times a day do you play tug-of-war? And load it by, does he get enough exercise? How many times a day do you play tug-of-war? How many times a day do you play chase? Load the questions so they, 10 times a day, 10 times a day. And then,
excited to answer.
Yeah, and all loaded questions. and then and say free instant evaluation, and then after forensically analyzing your report, we figured out the problem is you.
It's our psychic report.
But these dogs have every little signal. This dog is not going to come to me if it at all expects a correction. Nala, I've got to be able to have a dog that will come to me to the point I can physically control it. And then I'm treating it with positive regard, that my grabbing. I'm going to tell you what doesn't work on these dogs, a pinch collar. And if you say that it does, look at how aggressive Kelly looks at it.
You're full of
mention of a pinch collar.
Nikes.
Then send me a video of one of these being trained with a pinch collar. Even getting the leash on, I need to be as surgical as possible. It's like that game Operation. Do you see how I got the leash on with this little fanfare? Yeah, in fact, I suggest, we can make up like a game that people can play. They practice putting the leash on, practice putting the collar, practice putting their timing. So I've already started a precedent with the down. This is how smart these dogs are. But I've got to have a state of mind where the dog says, you've got something I want. Because I'll tell you why. What it doesn't want is corrections. That's why that's not going to work with this dog. So if I want to, and this is how smart they are. I've already said the pager means movement. So I'm only just really moving you in another direction. I'm starting that by saying, oh, little miss at the ready. I'm just reiterating movement. Mama. Nope. I'm going back to the same place. I'm doing everything down. You precious angelic dog. You absolutely, as long as I can. Down. And I didn't add the pager right there, but I'm going to tell you what. I better do it next time. Down. And I'm not losing any attitude. It's not a correction. It's so indifferent on my part all through. If I can already, we've only been working on this for 10 minutes. I'm saying to myself, I'm getting somewhere if this dog, and I'm saying I've got the right treats. I'm not having any reaction to that. What was the one? Or maybe it was Briggy that used to jump up.
Mm-hmm.
But what I want to, and then she'd lay down. But what I want the dog, Nala, is if I am going to manipulate you around and move you around, it's going to be with the pager. Everything about me down. You precious, precious dog. And let me serve it up on a silver platter. And by the by, I'm taking up my slack, and I'm ready to push her from there with the pager, while I'm handing out the party favors. Oh, the party favors. I'm telling you how this dog is doing. It's doing great by this.